Okay, we will call to order the Green Bay Sex Offender Residency Board. We have roll call.
I'm getting there right now.
Okay. If I can get a motion to approve the agenda for the December 18th meeting.
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
If I can get an approval of the minutes from the November 20th meeting.
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Okay. The first order of appeal is Christopher Oatman requesting to move to 1313 St. George Street. You are appearing via Zoom, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So you have been before us several times.
Yeah.
Does the board wish for him to revisit all of the information, or was the information in the packet sufficient?
I'm fine.
It was sufficient.
Okay. You don't need to continue to tell us about your offense, but why are you requesting to move to St. George Street?
I'm currently in jail right now, and would like to get out on EMP, and this is the residence I'm going to live at.
Okay. What happened to the 1533 Leo Street that we had approved you for back in 2021?
That is why I'm here now in jail. I was living there, and in March of last year, I went into the legal department, and I got sentenced for the breaking into the tree, and I got a year in jail, and I got sentenced last week, or a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
But this happened last March, so then I've been living almost in jail now. So I'd like to live at my friend's house. He has a house and it's not an apartment.
Okay.
Better place to live.
Pardon me?
It's a better place to live for myself.
Okay.
Instead of apartment building with wrong people.
Okay. And you're currently incarcerated, and what's your expected release date?
I know it's August 17th, but I'm working in the kitchen, so I'm every 2 days I work, I get paid out.
Okay. And do you have a job lined up if you're able to get out?
Well, right now I have some money saved up to pay for the EMT, so that would give me time to get a job. I had an interview like the day after I got sentenced and locked up, and so I had no problems getting a job. I think, well, I did have 2 interviews before I got locked up, but I think because of going to court, they turned me down.
Okay.
So, but now I got court, everything's situated, so I believe that I would have no problem getting a job.
Okay. And then, if I'm correct, so you were convicted of a first-degree sexual assault of a child.
Yes.
And you were sentenced to 4 years prison with 10 years extended supervision.
Yes.
And then in 2006, you were revoked, correct?
Yes.
And if I remember from your past days, you stated it was due to multiple rule violations.
Yes.
Could you just list some of those rule violations for us?
Pretty much all of them. When I got out, I expected it to be back to normal, which it definitely wasn't. I was planning on going back with my wife, and she was with somebody else. So I was kind of shocked, and I didn't care about nothing. So I was drinking, I was on the internet, watching porn, and I was, like I said, pretty much at home, it was like those all.
Okay. All right. And if we wish to discuss treatment, you have the opportunity to do that in closed session or remain in public session. Do you have a preference?
Public session's fine.
Okay. So you did you complete any SOT treatment?
Yes, I did. With my first 4 years when I went to Jackson, I completed one there. And then I was, when I got out in 2005, I was seeing Jim Drake. I didn't complete that still at that jail. And then in I think 2000, I completed Kirkpatrick's. I don't know if there was a need for those is, group. That was a sex offender group.
Okay.
And last time I was here to see you guys, I was still in it, and I brought you the paperwork and homework and a letter from him. And since then, I deleted it.
Okay. All right. Anybody have any questions about the treatment?
Not,
Okay. And I do believe you have somebody here on your behalf, is that correct?
Yeah, that's the person I'm going to be living with.
All right. Are you on the phone?
He's on the phone on the Zoom.
Oh, is it Mr. Konchak? Okay, yes, what would you like to say about Mr. Oatman?
Could name and address, please?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, could you please state your name and address for the record?
Okay, Daniel Contract, 1313 St. George Street.
Okay. And what would you like to say about Mr. Oatman?
I've known Chris for several years now, and I was in the groups with him, so I know how to look signs and what not he could get into any more trouble. And I don't know how find the paperwork that said that we could have more paperwork.
How long have you known him?
Pardon?
How long have you known him?
Several years.
Did he say several?
yeah, I think so.
Maybe since like 2017 or so.
Okay. And,
Somewhere in that area.
and did I hear you say you met him in group?
Just a little bit before. I've been in the TOP.
Okay, okay. All right, and so, it's a house that you will be sharing with him? Okay, all right. You guys have any questions?
I do not.
Okay. Well, based on the past of Mr. Ullman coming here since, I think, 2009, I want to say it was, he's been approved, I believe, every single time.
Number one.
Yeah, except for that one time. So I'm not really too concerned about this address. Alex, what about you?
Yeah, I just had a question. Back in 2010, you had a number of charges for habitual criminality with a description of a registered sex offender intentionally photographing a minor without consent. Can you speak to a little bit about what happened with that?
Yes, my public defender we had argued with that for 17 months while I was in the county jail, and they still sent me to it, and we took it to the Supreme Court, and they have changed the law. So that should be all dismissed, and I don't know what it's, but it's still on my paperwork, I guess, or whatever.
And then what happened with the burglary in 23? What was that?
Oh, that was last year, yes. I went into my neighbor's house and took some of her garments. And on the day that, well, she suspected someone walked into her thing in her apartment, so she set up a camera. And I felt bad, so I went to bring the stuff back, and that's when I got caught on the camera.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just say I have concerns with the multiple offenses. You've got, 7 listed on here. That's concerning. I question your ability to make good decisions.
Yes.
That's why, excuse me, but that's why we decided to put them in a house instead of an apartment.
Yeah, I'm not here to argue with you. I'm just expressing my opinion.
Yep. And like I said, this is, besides this one, it's been since 2011 since I've been in trouble or arrested or anything. So I've been, it's intimidating my life as far as like getting in trouble and stuff. So I mean, this is, I think, it was kind of a speed bump, and he said, I've been really, ever since I went to that court, because I got out of seizure bond and stuff, and ever since then, I've been doing good anyway, the one hand after that. So like I said, it was kind of a upset, I guess you could say.
Lieutenant Allen, do you have any, the criminal complaint from that 2010 case?
From the 2010 case, I got a couple of them, and they're kind of all folded together. So there was the burglary, in which he had broke into his neighbor's apartment and stole her undergarments. And then during that, there was also some photographs of underage kids. And then the 2010 case, I believe what we're referring to, is the girlfriend at the time videotaping her underage daughter without her consent. And that was like while she was sleeping, from my understanding, according to the criminal complaint.
That was the 2001 sexual assault.
Oh, Lieutenant Allen, you got muted.
Just give me a second, I'll take a look at the 2010 criminal complaint. I wrote some notes down here, it's just but let me just take a look at the criminal complaint again. Just, I'll break for 30 seconds here.
Okay, thank you.
Isn't that the 2001 the sexual assault that he's talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure, and maybe Rachel, you can assist us with this, but that 2013 case where he has 16 counts of photographing a minor without consent, that was every case or count was dismissed by the Court of Appeals. Is that something that we should even be discussing?
I mean, if they were dismissed, they wouldn't be the basis for any kind of negative decision by this board.
Yeah,
Agreed.
that's what I was thinking. Are we still waiting for Lieutenant Allen for something that Alex wanted?
He was looking at the criminal complaint.
Oh,
He's looking
okay.
at about 30 seconds.
Okay.
He had some notes on it.
So the three criminal complaints that I have, the first one was a 2011 case, BR 3929. In that one, he was, I believe, according to this one, was the one where he had broken into his neighbor's house and taken her undergarments. And that was when it was discovered that there was also videos or photographs or videos of an underage female. And I don't see one from, you said from 2013, Alex?
Yeah, that was
2010, 2011. It's 2010. And there's a number of them.
They were dismissed.
I didn't request it.
Agreed. So, again, that is another case where he was photographing minors, and that one, it says that it happened on or about Wednesday, July 21st, 2010. And from my reading of the criminal complaint, it's talking about basically the same stuff that took place in the other case. It's like an amended criminal complaint that I'm reading. But it still talks about burglary and breaking into his neighbor's place, and then the probation agent finding all the stuff that essentially led to his arrest was the 10 bras, 3 bustiers, a bodysuit, corset, 27 pairs of women's underwear, and then the audio video evidence of the underage photographs. I'll break.
And then the 2023 one, same kind of situation, breaking into a neighbor's place and stealing women's undergarments?
Yes, that's my understanding.
And so that's what I'm trying to get at, is there's a clear pattern where these mistakes keep happening, and that gives me a lot of concern. That's all I have, thank you.
Okay. Okay, well, as I indicated earlier, I was all right with allowing him to reside at this 1313, just based on the history of him being approved so many times prior, so that's where I stand.
I agree.
Is there anyone that wants to make a motion?
Move to approve address specific.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Okay. All right, Mr. Oman, you are good to reside at 1313 St. George Street. If you do decide to move from that location, you will need to come back before the board.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. All right, our next appeal is Gregory Rady, which I believe you're also appearing via Zoom. Mr. Rady?
Yes, I'm hearing Zoom.
Okay, so you are requesting to move to 140 South Oneida Street, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you're currently at the Black River Correctional Center?
Yes, I'm doing ERP here right now.
Okay, and you're scheduled to be released when?
I graduate January 17th, so shortly after that, like a week or two.
Okay. And just for the record, based on the facility that you're currently at, if we decide to talk about any treatment, do you prefer to do that in closed session, or are you okay to remain in public session?
Anytime, public time.
Okay, perfect. All right, so this is your first time appearing before the board.
Yes.
All right, so we are going to ask you to tell us about the, what you were convicted of, and when you talk about that offense, please don't talk about the victim by name or relationship.
Okay.
All right, go ahead, tell us what happened.
It was 2 counts of second-degree sexual assault of a child and 01.
Oh, yeah, we need a little more details, like,
There's 3 guys and 3 girls involved. They were at my house. They consented. I don't know what else you want me to tell you.
well, first, how old were you? All
Oh, I was 21.
right, and how old was your victim?
I believe 15.
And did you know she was 15?
At the time, no.
How old did you think she was?
At least 18, you know. I was young myself.
And why did you think she was 18?
Because, I don't know, they looked 18.
Okay. And was this at a party that you were all together?
Yes, it was. It was at my house.
Okay. Was there drinking or drugs occurring?
There was drinking, but that's it.
Okay. And so tell us exactly what happened. Did you touch the person? Was there intercourse? Was there force?
There was intercourse.
Okay. And then how did the police get involved?
The next morning they were at the house. I actually don't know how it all happened.
All right. And did you cooperate with the police?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then you got 8 months Huber for that, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I did 7 months of it.
Yeah, okay. All right. Now, we do have a lieutenant from the Green Bay Police Department who's going to confirm the accuracy of that. Are you all right with that?
That what?
Are you all right with that? The lieutenant from Green Bay Police Department is going to confirm what you told us is accurate.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Go ahead, Lieutenant.
Everything seems to be accurate. However, according to the criminal complaint, one of the victims at least told the males that they were 15 years old. So, and this was, it sounds like there was a couple of different sexual encounters that took place. And after the first one, but before the second one, the females disclosed that they were 15.
Okay. Thank you. Do you remember that, Gregory?
It was a long time ago. I don't think he said one of the males. I don't think I got told that.
Okay. All right. Any questions about his offense? Okay.
I did get treatment for it and stuff like that. I went to treatment.
So
I completed it.
you did SOT treatment?
I did counseling on the outside. I didn't have to at that time. I did 4 years of probation, made it through that.
Where did you do the counseling at?
It was in Appleton somewhere. My girlfriend is there. She could probably tell you more about it than me.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly where it was.
Okay. All right. What about any other treatment that you're receiving?
I'm receiving drug treatment right now.
Yeah.
That's what my ERP is for.
Okay.
I'm in prison for my 3rd and 4th DUI.
Is that your only problem is with alcohol, or do you have any problems with drugs?
It wasn't alcohol, it was drugs, opiates and crack.
Okay. Are you on any kind of medical assisted treatment, or just strictly counseling?
Not anymore. I've been clean for almost 2 years now.
How long have you been in prison?
As soon as I graduate, it'll be 2 years, 2 months.
Okay. So you're kind of forced to quit, correct?
I was forced to, but I was getting help on the outside. I was doing the methadone. I was trying to get off all that. And I was on 55 milligrams working my way down.
Okay. Do you think that when you get released, you're going to need the methadone again?
No, ma'am. I don't want to do none of that no more.
Okay. All right. Okay. And then, did you also go through some cognitive behavioral interventions?
That's what this is right now.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm doing well in it. My counselors say at least, you know. Just like I said, I graduate January 17th, so in about 4 weeks.
Okay. All right. My one question, kind of looking on your application that you completed is, how long do you think you have been out of custody since, I don't know, let's say the year 2015?
How long have I been out?
Out of custody. Yes,
Like that I haven't been locked up.
correct.
Just like this is my first time in prison. So really the last time I was in jail was in '01 for that 8 months. And then I did a couple overnighters in 2021, I believe,
Okay, because,
and 2022. And then I came to prison for my 3rd and 4th.
hold on. 21. Okay, because I just want to confirm, so you had an OWI with injury in 2021.
It actually happened in 2016. I got charged with it in 2021.
Oh, okay, 27, yeah, I see that, okay. But
Yeah.
then, so you got sentenced in 21 to 8 months jail, correct?
Yes,
And then in February of 23, you were revoked and sent to prison for 24 months.
yeah, because I got pulled over with my 4th.
Oh, okay. That's what I wanted clarification on, thank you. All right. Are you gonna have a job when you get out?
I'm going to look for one.
Okay, all right. Okay, does anyone have questions for him or need anything repeated?
So, you answered the question, how do you feel that sexual crime affected your victim? And you answered, I'll tell you in person. Tll me in person.
I'm hoping that I know it probably hurt them in ways that I can't describe, but I'm sorry for what happened. I was young. It should have never happened. I should have thought about my actions before I did it.
Alex, do you have any questions?
No, that was my question. Thank you.
Okay, all righty. All right. And you have someone who wants to speak
Yeah,
on your behalf?
the one that I'm going to be living with.
Okay, you may step forward. We just need you to state your name and address for the record, please.
Sarah Berkovitz, 140 South Oneida Street, Green Bay, Wisconsin, 54303.
Okay. What can you tell us about Mr. Reedy?
Me and Greg have been dating for 22 years now. He was off of all of his stuff before I met him. I actually met him on my 20th birthday, and he carded me. And I thought it was a joke because he just wanted to verify my birthday, you know. Oh, it's my birthday. Yeah, show me your ID. Well, after we started dating for a while, he clearly explained why he carded me the night that I met him. Like, he learned from the first time this happened, it wasn't something he sought out. So yeah, the night I met him, he actually carded me to make sure I was of age. Obviously, you've seen his record, he's had some issues over the years. But we've been living in that house for many years. I bought it 2 years after the law changed. Before that, it was his grandma's house. So he has a lot of memories both with us and as a child in that house. I have no problems whatsoever with thinking he's gonna go back to doing what he's been doing, either drugs or anything like that. Like he said, we were actually on our way home from the methadone clinic when he got pulled over for his fourth. So, I would say, hopefully optimistic that this is what he needed and we'll be back on the straight and narrow.
Was the fourth because he had methadone in his system?
Yep.
Is that accurate, Lieutenant Allen?
He may have still have had something else because he was working on getting off. That I'm not entirely sure.
Oh.
All I know is he got pulled over on our way home from the methadone clinic.
All right.
I don't know.
Yeah,
if that's all.
I only had methadone and cocaine in my system.
Oh, only, okay. Sure.
Well, you know what I mean, what they're telling me is that it was from the methadone is why I got the 4 DUI.
Okay.
So like I said, we were in the process of getting him back on the right path before this happened. But as far as anything else, like his family had no problem. His half-sister used to stay with us some nights. Like there was no concern over anything like that.
Okay. And since he's been in and out of custody, like, have you visited him while he's in prison, or
Yes.
do you do that?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Okay.
actually had a video visit earlier today.
Okay. All right. Okay, anybody have questions for her?
No?
Okay. Thank you. Okay. You know, typically I like to see treatment documentation, but I mean, I get that you went on your own and did some private counseling, it wasn't ordered. And again, that's, you know, over 20 plus years ago, so I'm sure it was difficult to try to get any kind of documentation. But at this point, I don't have any concerns.
I don't either.
Same here.
Move to approve address specific?
Is there,
I'll second.
all in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, Mr. Rady, you're good to reside at the 140 South Oneida Street when you get released. But please know that if you do move from that location, you will need to come back before us.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
yep.
You don't have to stay. Okay. Oh, do you want that mailed to the Black River Falls, or do you want it mailed to the 140 South Oneida?
You can just.
Just mail it to my house, the 140 South Oneida.
Okay, thank you.
so much.
Yep,
Okay, thank you.
sure. All right, the next appeal is Kelly Lee, requesting to continue to reside at 907 and a half Velp Avenue. Kelly, can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep. So the the last time we saw you was back in 2012, which we approved you to reside at 1838 Jean Street. How long have you stayed at that address? Hello?
I'm sorry, I was at Walnut Street with my husband for the last 10 years.
When did you
I don't
move?
know how that got, like,
So when we saw you
it's been, I'm sorry, what were you saying?
Yeah, when we saw you, the last time we saw you was in June of 2012, and we approved you to reside at 1838 Jean Street. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Okay, so then you must have moved from that location to this Walnut Street that you're telling us about?
Yeah, I was there for the last 10 years. See, what my understanding of this board was that you needed to come before this board if you were on probation. Otherwise, you just keep in touch with Madison. I had no idea that outside of this, you have to keep doing it. I had no idea. I am terribly sorry. I had no idea that's what was supposed to be going on, and that's why this whole situation happened in the first place. So I have been reporting to Madison everywhere I've been. They know exactly where I've been this whole time. I had no idea that I had to come before you guys again after I was done with probation.
Okay.
And Heidi, I don't know if this is the case, but maybe it's not within that 1,500-foot buffer. I don't know, but she wouldn't have to come back here if that was the case.
Oh, for the Walnut Street?
Yeah, but I don't know if that's in the buffer.
By East
Yeah.
High School.
Yeah. So you're currently residing at 907 and a half Valp. How long have you been living there?
Since the beginning of November.
Okay. And then how did you know that you had to come here to see us?
Well, you see, what happened was, is we moved into our place and we were just living our life, doing our thing. We had reported to Madison. And because we reported to Madison, and apparently they must have like sent it up here or something, I don't know, but a police officer called our landlord and was like, hey, did you know that these people are sex offenders? And yeah, he knew and everything, but that's how we found out, because he called us and told us like, hey, a police officer called, like, is there a situation going on? So that's when we were like, we better call the board. So that's what we did, and they said, yeah, you need to re-register, so that's when we sent the paperwork in.
Okay, all right. That's good to know, thank you.
You guys, I'm so sorry about that. I swear on my life and my child's life, I was not trying to hide from you. I'm just so sorry.
Nope. Yep, that's all good. Does anyone have any questions that they want to ask? I mean, I know it's been a long time that she's been here. I also look at it like she hasn't had any any charges since 2015, and those were drug issues. No?
No.
Yeah, I've been clean for 10 years now.
Okay.
Well, 9, almost 10 years. I've got a career now, I went to school, I'm doing really well.
Where are you working?
I am a nail tech now, I work at the Pure Natural Nail, but I'm working on expanding to my own little studio.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
all right. Do you have anyone here to speak on your behalf?
Just my husband, but he's here with me.
He'll be up next?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't have any concerns. I mean, it's been quite some time since she's had any kind of law enforcement contact and has been, all right.
I agree.
Same.
Move to
Okay.
approve address specific.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Hey,
Okay. All right, Kelly, you're approved.
Keep going.
Yep. We'll send that to your address.
All right, awesome, I appreciate the understanding, I'm so sorry, you guys.
But just know that if you decide to leave that address, you still have to come before us.
Yeah, I get that now, thank you.
Sure, no problem. Okay, the next appeal is Jerry Scott requesting to continue to reside at 907 and a half Valp Avenue. Hello. So again, you've been here several times. Does the board want him to go over his offense?
I do not.
I don't.
Alex?
nope.
Okay. And so I'm gonna gather the story's the same as your wife's, that you didn't know if you weren't.
Yeah, and I would like to say, I'm so proud of her. She has worked so hard at being clean, staying clean, and getting her life together. I'm impressed every single day by her resolve.
Okay, thank you. And for you, Mr. Scott, are you currently working?
Yes, I have been in the same field. I'm a delivery driver. I've been a delivery driver for 19 years.
And who's that with?
Jet's Pizza?
Oh. Jet's Pizza has been here for 19 years?
No, so like I said, I've been a delivery driver for 19 years. I've been with Jets since March. The only reason why I was so short is the last place I worked at for 3 years closed down. Otherwise, I'd still be working there. And the delivery job before that, I was there for 10 years.
Okay. All right.
So I'm not going anywhere.
Okay. And do you have anyone here on your behalf to speak?
No, other than my wife.
Okay. All right. I really don't have questions just because of the fact, you know what, I was here when you were here the last time, when we approved you to live at the 1237 Walnut Street. So,
Yes.
I'm okay with the address that you've chosen at this time, but we have the rest of the board.
I agree, same situation as the last one. Move to approve address specific.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Okay, Mr. Scott, you're good to continue to reside at 907 and a half Velp. We'll mail you that letter to that address. Again, like I stated to your wife, if you choose to move, you have to come back before us.
Understood.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yep, thank you.
All right, have a good day, everybody.
Yep, you too. Okay, the next appeal is Leo Mattson requesting to move to 713 Chicago Street. All right. Oh, you got some documentation? Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, so Leo has provided, are you all right if I say this in public? Okay. A letter from Dr. Drake stating that he's been in sex offender treatment since February 28th of '24, has been seen 3 times, working on risk management, relapse boundaries, planning, along with ownership dynamics and overall healthy legal boundaries and limits. Oh, I'm sorry, hold on, we got a little update here. Then November 14th, Mr. Mattson has been seen 15 times. Treatment continues to focus on risk management. We'll continue to work with him. Then again on December 13th, has recently been seen on 1213, by which he is working on procuring insurance so his treatment dosage can be increased. He indicates he has been following his rules and has good boundaries and limits in the community. So he provided us that. All right, so let's see here. Leo, the last time you were here was in March? Is that right?
I think it's about March.
It seems sooner, I mean, more recent than that.
Time flies.
Yeah. So in March, we denied you to reside at the Van Buren Street. And do you remember why we denied you?
I believe it's for treatment purposes.
Treatment
I didn't have enough
purposes?
treatment. Yeah, I didn't have enough treatment in. I only
Yep.
had 3 sessions in at that time.
Yeah, but I also think that, I'm not sure if all of the board members were here at that time or not, but I think there was a feeling that you were not taking ownership of the offense, that you minimized it and, you know, maybe claimed that that's not what really happened, when we had Lieutenant Allen kind of come back and say, you weren't really telling us the truth. Do you remember that? Does the board remember this conversation?
Yeah,
Yeah, you don't remember that?
Well, I guess everything was pretty much a blur that day as far as trying to get things together as far as people, and I guess the circumstances that, you know, the questions and everything was going pretty fast, and
Okay.
yeah, it was.
All right, then let's kind of go slow today, okay? So, again, I know you've been here several times, but I want to just make sure we all understand what happened. What caused you to get arrested for the sexual assault charge? Okay, so this was back in, like, 2010? Is that right?
Yeah, there was, yeah. there was
Okay,
that-
so tell us what happened in that 2010 incident.
Leo, be brutally honest, there's no reason to try to
Well, yeah.
cover
Yeah.
things up.
Yeah, it's just, I was with a mistress of mine, put it that way. That sort of, you know, sounded bad, looked bad at the time, but I was married and I had a mistress, and she had a young daughter, and she invited me over to bring her some items. And I bring her the items, and the items weren't sufficient. So she sent me to the local convenience store with her daughter, and we went and got the items, and on the way back from getting the items, we stopped at the victim wanted to go to the local park right there. So we went there, and we went down, she went down the slide, and then she slid up against me, and I went and turned around to pick her up, and yeah, the assault happened.
And when you say the assault happened, what was the assault?
The touching on the buttocks and the breast.
Okay. And then, did she go home and tell her mom?
Yes,
And then, how soon after that did the police contact you?
immediately after.
Okay. And when the police contacted you, what happened with the police? Did you admit to everything? Did you say that's not what happened?
Well, I guess the story was that, you know, this had occurred before, and there was a lot brought into it that probably didn't happen, but I admitted my part, what I did, you know. There was a lot of extra animosity between me and her, the mistress and stuff like that, so a lot of things got brought into it that, you know, probably didn't, but I eventually just said, okay, I just admit to whatever she says, and whatever happened is, you know, this is my part, I'm taking ownership for that.
Okay. And so you're saying that it happened one time, right?
Mhm.
That it was one time?
Mhm.
But then, did she tell the police that it happened several times, or no?
No.
No, okay,
No.
so it was just one time.
Yeah.
Okay, so we just want Lieutenant Allen to confirm that again, okay?
Yeah, so just for confirmation, the victim reported that there was vaginal penetration with one of his digits, to include the stuff that he spoke about, but it does sound like, from the criminal complaint, that it was just this one isolated incident.
Okay.
Eddie, I have a question.
Yeah?
So you said that you took ownership of it, but you pled not guilty. You went through a jury trial where you were found guilty. So why did you plead not guilty?
Because a lot of the allegations in our report, I guess, was not, I guess, something I guess I could believe as far as on my end of what I did.
Does that answer your question, Alex?
I guess. I know there was another 2018 case as well. I don't know if you're ready to go to that one, but I want to know about that one too.
Okay, go ahead and tell us about the sexual assault in 2018.
Okay, 2018, I was with a girlfriend type of thing, and we went up to Casino Mole Lake for a birthday party up there, and the assault occurred while the victim come into the room. Basically touching under the clothing of the victim, and that was basically, I guess, it. As it was claimed to be an assault. So as far as that, there was no penetration, anything like that. It was not a random victim. It was, a person of
Yeah, you don't have to tell us.
whatever, but yeah.
Okay, and so with that case, just touching the victim, you got 5 years prison, is that correct? And then 10 years supervision?
Yes.
And so, help me, when, on the very first offense, the one in 2010, you got 4 years prison and 4 years supervision. So were you still on supervision when the second offense occurred? Or were you already done at that time? Because that time frame is pretty close.
Yeah, I was just about done at 3 months.
Just about done?
Yeah.
Okay. And had you received treatment in the 2010?
Yes,
You did?
I received and completed it.
Okay, so help us understand how in 2010, you have the sexual offense against a child, and you go through all your treatment, you're almost done with supervision, and yet you do it again. How do you describe, why?
I guess, basically I wasn't thinking, I guess clearly at the time, things were very, I don't know, it wasn't something that I planned out, it wasn't something that I set out to do, it was something that had happened, and I'm very sorry for that to be happened, at a second time. It's just something that had occurred, and I take ownership for it, and yeah, I feel terrible that happened.
Were you
And-
drinking, using drugs?
No,
This all happened while you were sober.
yes.
Is Lieutenant Allen able to speak to the criminal complaint for the 2018?
Yes. So according to this criminal complaint, the victim described their relationship with Mr. Matson as her uncle. And there, at least at one correspondence via text message between the victim and Mr. Matson, talking about sexual explicit messages, and that culminated with this incident that was reported in Forest County.
And what was the actual incident in the criminal complaint?
That he had inappropriately touched the complainant's 10-year-old daughter, which would have been his the defendant's niece. The vaginal area, and the defendant stopped after her younger sister had walked into the room.
And when were you released from prison?
2018.
You were
No.
January of 24, yes, this year.
And you've been homeless since then, correct?
Yes, I was at TLP, and then I became homeless in March.
All right. Can I just ask how you can engage in sexually explicit text messages with a 9-10-year-old?
Well, I
Like,
guess
what
it
kind of messages
sounds-
would you send?
I guess it would sound, it sounds, I guess that sounds really, really vague, I guess, as far as sexual text messages, but
But did you send sexual text messages?
I was sending them to her mother and she discovered them on, it was her mother's phone and then her mother had gave her the old phone. And then it sort of got screwed up like that, like, okay, now, are you sending them to me or are you sending them to this kid? That's how it surfaced to like, how did this occur? And I tried to explain like, this is how this occurred. She let her play her games or whatever on that phone and she already got a different phone. So she wasn't answering one phone. So I was texting the other phone and that's how the child became, involved with that type of text message type of, that's how.
Can I just talk real quick about that to the group?
Yes, please.
So there are specific text messages from the victim that indicates to the defendant, Mom said I cannot come over. You can't, and then the defendant replies, you can't come over, that's fine, I'll see you by Grandpa, okay? So just keep quiet for now, we'll be okay. So it's clear in the text messages that the defendant knew that he was sending text messages to the 10-year-old and not to the 10-year-old's mother.
I'll make a motion to deny.
Is there a second on that? Or anybody want some discussion?
I just don't feel like you're being honest with us, Leo. I want to believe you, I really do.
Yeah.
And I want the board to help you if you can. But the coincidence of you having a sexual contact with a 9-year-old and then texting with a 10-year-old, you weren't being honest about that.
I mean, I guess it's just the way things were happening on the text messages and who I'm talking to. It's like, well, who am I talking to? Oh, I'm talking to you, and then I know, it's your mother, is it you, is it? So things really got scrambled up.
Lieutenant just read a text where you said, don't tell your mom. So you knew you were talking to the daughter. It's very clear.
I don't know exactly what that message was saying, but it's like, I guess I didn't know who I was texting, but they said that I was texting the daughter, but I guess I didn't have no recollection. It's like, well,
How long a period did that texting take? Was it over minutes, hours, days?
it wasn't very long. I mean, it's just, I think it was like within a couple of days, maybe a day or something. It was something I didn't even realize, I guess, on my end, as far as it occurring like it did. It's like, okay, this occurred, and it was just a one-time thing, I guess, that had happened, and it's like, it was beyond my recollection, I guess, as far as what was really occurring at the time, but it was something that had happened, and you gotta take ownership for that, if that's the, situation, but it had happened, and yeah, I'm through that, and I'm a better person than that, as far as a person, it's, it had happened, and yeah, it's something I take ownership for,
I just kind of want to tell you where my reservations are. So, you basically got out of prison in, like, right around 2014, 2015, right? And the board gave you an opportunity at that time. We approved you to live on Hubbard Street. Remember that? And, I think we had reservations back then, but we gave you, like, hey, we're gonna give you a 60 days, we want you to come back, see how you're doing. You actually were doing pretty good, so we said, okay, we're gonna let you live there. and then shortly after that, you commit another offense. So I think, for me, that's my fear right now, is that we're gonna allow you to reside here, and you're gonna go back and commit that offense again. That's how I
Well,
feel.
especially because you're not being honest with us right now. If you were honest with us, it would be a different story, but I don't feel like you're being honest with us right now. You know, I really don't.
I agree, and I do think that is something that you really need to work with Dr. Drake. And maybe it's that you don't understand the questions. You know, I felt like we did take it slower this time, so we weren't maybe badgering you if that's how you felt it was the last time. But you have to understand that we sit on this board and we hear these stories from everybody,
Oh, yeah.
every sex offender. So nothing that we hear surprises us or shocks us, right?
Right.
Because we've heard it.
Oh,
So
sure.
that's why we want you to be as honest as possible when you come up here.
Yeah, I just try my best, you know.
I
and
understand.
That's the best I can do, and if I forget to mention something, hey, it's, you know, it's trying to move forward and then trying to recollect something that you had made a mistake with. It's just, I guess it's two different worlds. I mean, it's like, okay, you're trying to move forward and you're trying to, okay, you know, how do you move past it? I guess, okay, you're just trying to let that part of your life go, you know, and move forward. And if I missed a few things, hey, I'm sorry about that, but it's just one of them
And
things.
you're not required to live in Brown County, are you? I mean, your
No.
offense was out of Forest. Did you ask to have your supervision transferred here? For the one that you're on 10 years of supervision?
They transferred it, yeah. They transferred
Okay,
it.
but, I mean, do you know people yet in Forest County where
No.
maybe you would want to go back there?
No, I know nobody up there.
Okay, okay. I know we have a motion on the table, but I also need to know, right, I need to, if he has people to speak on his behalf. Do you have people here to speak
No,
on?
I didn't bring nobody to.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, yeah.
So, all right, so we have a motion at this time to deny Mr. Mattson to reside at 713 Chicago Street. Do we have a second? I'll second that. All in favor of denying, aye?
Aye.
Abstain.
Okay,
I
and
don't
opposed?
I'm sorry.
I'll oppose.
All right, so does that motion pass? Because we have an abstain?
Need a majority of the board members present.
I'll change my vote to aye.
Okay, so you're denying? Okay, so we have 3 denials to 1
Okay,
opposed.
that's fine.
So again, I'm sorry at this
No,
time, yeah. But
When am I
I
allowed to
do.
come back, or what do I, or just try to find
Talk to Jim
Different
Graves, tell him
residents.
what happened today, tell him that we're having problems with your honesty level, and have him work out with you how to talk to us the next time you come back.
Yeah.
Next month, I suppose.
I mean, that's.
Yeah, these meetings are saved on the city's website, so maybe you can show him this meeting so he knows the full context. That might be helpful.
Okay,
Okay,
yeah, okay, all right, thank you.
Mr. Mattson, you can apply if circumstances change. So if you receive additional treatment, if there's a different address that you want considered, if your circumstances change, you can reapply.
yep.
I mean, like also,
As soon as the
I don't know.
circumstances have changed.
Well, yeah, I understand that, but you guys will take it 3 months from now or something, or?
If you've received additional treatment.
Right.
We'll have to cross that bridge when we get there. We
Right,
can look
right,
at the
okay.
application when it comes in.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next appeal we have is James Beno requesting to move to 2083 Muirwood Lane. Come on up.
Good evening.
Hi. So you've never been before us, this is your first time.
That's correct.
So we're going to ask you to tell us what you were convicted of, and how it came about, how did the police get involved, and just please don't mention the victim by name or relationship. So,
I understand.
Go ahead.
I was convicted of 3 counts of possession of child pornography and 3 counts of capture image of nudity. How it came about was I was actually in training for a new job with Air Wisconsin as a pilot, and my wife that I had filed for divorce from, we had filed for divorce, found the videos on our family computer. And she notified the Ashwaubenon Police Department, and they came and arrested me at the Paper Valley Hotel in Appleton.
And then did you take it to trial?
No, we did a plea,
Plea agreement?
yes.
Okay.
Where do those images come from?
The capture image of nudity, I had placed a camera, a pen camera, in the bathroom of our family residence, and recorded my adult victim in the shower, and one of her friends.
And the child pornography, was that?
Child pornography was, I had, my wife and I, like I said, we had filed for divorce. This is what happened, all happened in 2018. We filed for divorce in, I think it was April. But for the previous, probably year and a half, it was a strained marriage. And we had, I had subscribed to a pornography website, paid pornography service, that downloaded large chunks of pornography into the computer. Didn't know what it was until I opened it up the next day, and some of it, most of it was of adult content, but some of it was child pornography. And my wife and I, that's what we, I guess, tried to use to salvage our marriage.
Was child pornography?
No.
Oh, just pornography?
Just the regular.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Lieutenant, is that accurate?
Yes, that's accurate.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So you got 3 years incarceration and 10 years extended supervision.
For the child pornography, and I had 1 year and 3 years for the capture image of nudity. So a total of 4 in, 12 out combined.
Okay. When will you get off of supervision?
I just got out of prison in October, so 11 years and 10 months from now.
No offense, but that seems like a really long time for supervision for
I
this.
beg to agree with you. So did my lawyer, but.
And that was part of your plea agreement to
The plea
accept
agreement
that?
was basically, there was, I think initially there was 9 counts of one and 10 counts of the other. I don't remember which one was which. And it was a plea down to 3 of each. And there was really no discussion over the length of sentence. But during my PSI with the state, they had suggested, 3 years, because that's the mandatory minimum for child pornography. And Judge Kelly gave me 4 years, and then the 12 years of supervision.
Okay. And then, does anyone have questions about his offense?
No.
Not on that, but I see, it looks like there was a probation violation a couple of weeks ago. Is that true?
Yes and no. I've got
Okay.
a letter here from Alyssa Liebergen from the Department of Corrections. It happened on the Thursday night football game for the Packers a couple weeks ago. I had asked for an extension on my curfew, because I'm at the TLP and I have a curfew from 10 p.m. until 6 a.m. And she granted that extension. I was at my fiance's house, it was Holly, she's here, and we were watching the game, and all of a sudden my GPS bracelet went off at 10:15, and I called the 800 number, which we're supposed to do, and the person at the monitoring station could not find any documentation concerning that, and they asked me to go back to the TLP, which I did, and I don't even know what time it was, 1 o'clock in the morning, 3 officers came and arrested me and took me to jail. As soon as my PO got into the office at 8 o'clock that next morning, she arranged to get me out ASAP, that it was an error on their behalf, and like I said, you have a copy of that letter that states that.
He's telling the truth, Alex.
Yeah, the letter, it's from the agent stating that the events that occurred on 12/5, a warrant was issued, and he was taken into custody without incident for violations. Upon investigation, the DOC found he was not at fault and
Okay,
closed the
thank you.
violation. Sure. So, as you heard me mention earlier tonight, if we want to talk about any treatment that you've received, you know, you have the opportunity to go in closed session or remain in public. Do you have a preference?
We can stay in public.
Okay, so I do see that you had attached a letter from the Department of Corrections and Family Services regarding treatment. So let's first talk about the one at DOC.
Yes. That, I was assigned SOT 2 programming at Oshkosh. I was in Oshkosh for the 4 years, or majority of the 4 years. And I completed that. That's a year-long program where we, analyzed, triggers and whatnot, and risk factors, and we completed that program.
So what would you tell us would be a trigger or one of your risk factors?
I think one of the biggest things for me was they categorize it, and it sounds worse than I think it is, as hostility toward women is what the title of it is. And it's more, I'd say, probably more of a disrespect, and that goes back to even my job and whatnot. I would frequent strip clubs and whatnot with clients and take them out. For 10 years prior to this, or for 20 years prior to this, I was in the fuel industry, and we'd take, truck drivers and farmers and people like that, maybe more of a rougher crowd, and we'd go out drinking and things like that. And I think that's probably my worst, attribute there would have been that.
Okay. And how long were you in that program for at DOC? You said 1 year?
1 year.
Okay.
1 year program.
All right. And then you got released from prison in October and immediately started treatment with Dr. Drake?
I had seen Dr. Drake, or he's actually not a doctor, but yes, Mr. Drake, before I was sentenced. My arrest was in May of 2018, and I didn't get sentenced until October of 20, so I was out for almost 2.5 years. A lot of it had to do with COVID, so everything came to a grinding halt. But during that time, I visited Dr. Drake, or did televisits with him over 100 occasions. And as soon as I got out, I reached out to him to see if he was still taking patients, and I started going back to him the week after I got out. And I've been seeing him every week since.
Okay. And what would be the number one thing you've learned from him?
I think the biggest thing is communication. He looks at the captured image of nudity as the I guess if you want to call it the more serious of the crimes. The other one was stupidity more than anything. But with that one, it goes back to the marriage that I had and I was going through for the last few years before that, and communication. Ultimately, it's communication is the key. When we did end up filing for divorce, my victim was actually the first person I called and said, hey, your mother and I are gonna get a divorce, and she said you should have did that 5 years ago. So, other people saw it, but, when it's right in front of your face, sometimes you don't see it yourself.
Okay. Any questions?
I don't have any.
Okay, and are you currently working?
I've been actively looking for work for the last couple weeks. First couple weeks out of prison, I just wanted to get my head wrapped around everything, spend a lot of time with my family and whatnot. I haven't had any success yet. There may be an opportunity. I worked after my arrest, I worked at Schlotsky's Deli up on West Mason Street with the owner's name was Ken Schauer for 2 years. He had since sold the business, and I've been in contact with the new owners, and there may be some potential, but he's just, a little bit hesitant, not working, or working with a potential sex offender with the public, just an image thing. But there may be some opportunity to do some like after-hours work or maintenance work. But ultimately, I have the experience as a professional for the last, 25 years. Realistically, getting a job, something like that again, might be tough, but it's just, you just gotta keep, keep pushing forward and trying. Like I said, I sent out some resumes yesterday, and I'll send some more out tomorrow, and, hopefully one of them, somebody will give you a call back.
Okay. All right. And do you have people that want to speak on your behalf?
I have a lot of people here if they want to
Yeah.
speak on it.
I see that.
I don't know that, I'm ready to make a motion.
I know, but
Do they have to speak?
we have to let them speak?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My bad.
If they want to.
If you want to. You don't have to.
Julie, it's your house.
It's your house, Julie. That's my sister, Julie.
Sure. So we just ask that you come up and state your name and address for the record, please.
Yes, please.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Hi there.
Hi.
I have this speech, I'm not going to read it. I'm going to just highlight some of it. My name is Julie Skoletsky, and my husband Brian and I
Address.
I am, address 2083 Muirwood Lane,
Yep.
the address that he wants to reside at. My
Yes.
husband Brian and I have invited Jim to come live with us until he basically can get his head wrapped around life and figure out where he's going to go and what he's going to do. He had mentioned his fiancee Holly, who's sitting next to him. She obviously they want to get married and move on and do whatever, but for the time being, we're inviting Jim to live with us. And we 4 kids, mom and dad, grew up in a good Catholic family. Went to church every week, did all the right stuff, and unfortunately, Jim was in a crappy marriage. And we all saw it, and like he said, that close to it, he didn't see it. And they went down this whole pornography route, and he got burned. He got burned, and he takes full responsibility for it. His sentence, and we all agree, his sentence is atrocious. And not that we want to say what he did is less than what some of these other people do, but he never touched anybody. He's never gone out seeking child pornography. The investigator that his attorney hired for his case looked into all of the buzzwords that a person would Google search. Nothing. This child pornography came with all this other crap that he was looking for. And it was there, he knew it, he left it on his computer. So, and in the state of Wisconsin, you have knowledge of it, you're guilty. He started going back to church after he was arrested in 2018. Sister Marla Clerks, who's in the little holiday sweater, she was at our parish, St. Elizabeth Ann Seton, which is right near our house, and we developed a great relationship with her. We brought Jim back to church. He went to confession. He has fully accepted his responsibility for what he did, and we know God forgives him. And that's the big thing, that we believe in God's mercy and God's forgiveness, and we're looking for everyone else to grant him that same mercy and forgiveness so he can try to move on. Getting a job is going to be tough. We know that with the sex offender status. Thank God he's got means with all of us that we're able to help him. And, you know, it's a cycle. It's a vicious cycle when people end up homeless. And technically on December 20th, he's out of the TLP. That's when he gets his eviction and he's technically homeless. So he needs somewhere to go. And we want to help him. He's finally got approved to go back to church. You know, that's just a process through all this stuff that we have to go through the priest, we have to go through the parole officer and all that stuff. And he's going back to church and he's just trying to get his life back on track and being a good person. A better person than what he was. We have children, they're all of age, and my kids are okay that Uncle Jim is coming to live with us. And none of them live at home. I have the youngest is a 19-year-old daughter, and she is off to school. But they're all okay with that. No one's afraid of Uncle Jim. I guess my plea to you is just that you allow him to live with us so we can be Jesus to him and give him that second chance that we all deserve.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Nope. Okay.
I'm comfortable with voting to approve for this person to live at Muirwood.
Yeah, I just want to quick say that I do appreciate your straightforwardness with us. You know, I know sometimes it's hard to talk about that stuff, especially in front of your family. But those are the things that we do need to hear.
Well,
so.
and I think you asked me about Jim Drake and, you know, those sessions before I was actually sent away. Yeah, it's you have to own up to it, and you have to be. Even the day I was arrested, you know, they read me my rights, but I told them everything. You know, what they're going to find out anyways. So
Yep.
There's no reason to hide anything.
Okay, thank you. So we have a motion on the floor.
Move to approve address specific.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I
Okay, you are approved to reside at your sister's, the 2083 Muirwood Lane. When you do move from there, you do have to come back before us and go through this again,
All right.
okay?
Thank you so much.
And you want us to mail that to the address or to the TLP?
Mail it to the address, because hopefully I'll be on VTLP tomorrow or the next day.
Okay,
Well, I will be on Friday, regardless.
okay. All right, thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, is there any business that we have to discuss?
What happened to this cruise guy?
Oh, Cruz, do you want to explain that one, Dan?
He is going to an address on Smith Street that changed, and that is in the non-restricted area. So I changed the agenda and removed him off of it, so you must have printed off the old one.
No doubt.
Okay.
You just thought I was skipping.
That was a last-minute thing yesterday that they withdrew his application.
I was gonna joke and say, do you validate parking? I think I
We
put 10 minutes.
still have a meeting, we
Yeah.
still have to
We still
adjourn.
have to adjourn.
Yep.
Let's see in a second.
So, no other business?
Not that I know.
Okay.
I will send out the list of the calendar for the meetings for next year here in the next few days. I've already got them booked with IT for this room and the Zoom.
Okay. And so our next meeting is scheduled for January 15th at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
And then I just need a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
All in favor?
I'll
Aye.
second.
Oh, I mean, yeah, we need a second. Thank you. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
We're gonna have to-
Merry Christmas, happy holidays.
Thank you, Lieutenant Allen.
10 minutes.
Take care, everyone.
They
You
stopped-
too.
Thank you, Alex.
They stopped checking those meters, I think.
6.
This is 6.
Six.
You know, we can't help you.
I can't get a validation saying I was here.
Tell me.
I don't know if they can.
Give it a shot.
It might work.